So here we are with part 2 of Hot Coffee and Tortes. The Hot Coffee and Tortes introduced the topic of why we need to be aware of the sources that we use in our essays, and also just be aware of what we see in the news and critically analyze all of that information that's coming at us. I don't have the coffee and the tort pictured here because that's not really what we're talking about. That was just to set the scene. We're looking at how to identify not unbiased sources, because that doesn't exist, but we're looking at how to identify credible sources. So with this, I don't really give you all of the information in this video because most of the information is found in your textbook Writing Today. I'll give you a slide in this presentation that shows you which chapters to go to. I will reference some pages in a writer's reference that you should go to and read, and then also I'll have a PDF that I've printed from another textbook that I teach from called Everything's an Argument, and it has some great sources in there. Or excuse me, not great sources, but a wonderful page in there about what questions to ask. So the summary, back to our original question, is it possible to know the truth? How do we know a good source from a biased one? So here's what I want you to look at to find your answers. You can go to a writer's reference, pages 350 to 355, and they just give a really good visual of comparing a scholarly, credible source to more of a popular source, like what you might see on the television or what you might see at the newsstand. That's on 350 and 351. There's a great summary box on 352 about determining if a source is scholarly. And as I turn the page, there are two yellow boxes that takes you through assessing the argument, checking for signs of biases, so please check that out. Additionally, go to our textbook Writing Today. Chapters 24 and 25 will give you a good overview of research and what questions to ask. And then here's another handout. This is from that Everything's an Argument textbook. This is uploaded in Moodle for you to look at, but I just went to give an overview of what's contained in here. Look, whenever you find a source, look at the stance of the author. How is the author involved? Look at the credentials of the publishers. This is something you may not think about often, but there is somebody behind the published text, and that person has an angle, or that person has something that they're really interested in you knowing and seeing, and that's what they report. So look at the credentials of that person as well as the stance. You know, why are they publishing this source, and who contributes money to them? Money is always a factor when we're looking at what's printed in the news or what's published. How recent is it? Who does the author cite? That's a big one. You know, if your author cites other researchers, you know that they've done their homework, so to speak. If they're not citing anything, they're probably just giving you their opinion, and that's going to be a strong bias. So be sure you look at this sheet uploaded in. If you were in the classroom with me, I would have us group up, and I would have you create your own checklist for evaluating sources, going back to a writer's reference, going back to Writing Today, and I'd have you put them all together, kind of give yourself a cheat sheet of, you know, what you look at when you're researching. So I encourage you to just go ahead and do that. So in summary, back to our question, is it possible to know the truth? How do we know a good source from a biased one? Well, if you look at those documents that I just referred you to in those three textbooks, you will definitely have the tools that you need to answer that question.